Всем привет. Hello, hello. Welcome to English You Can Use. I'm your host, Public Affairs Officer Matt Thompson from the U.S. Consulate in Ekaterinburg. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Hope you're ready to learn a little bit of English. We have a really great teacher tonight. We're going to change it because I'm not really a real English teacher. I just speak English. We actually have somebody who knows what they're doing. So Viktoriya Kotova, from Moscow is going to join us. But first of all, I want to tell you right now, share this with a friend, a family member, a sibling, an enemy, I don't care. Share it with them if you think they want to improve their English. And I'm going to say hello to everybody tonight. Svetlana, hello. Konstantin, hello. Are you back from the United States? I think you were there. Yeah, so say hello if this is your first time or it's your 30th time. I think this is our 44th episode. So it's changed over time, but we're really glad you're here. So let's get started. If you don't follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Hello, Yulia. You know how to do that. You're on social media. So our word of the day sounds like a very simple word, but actually it's not the word you think it is. So the word is sweet. And you're like, come on, Matt. I know the word sweet. Sladka. Very easy. Very easy. But Americans use this in a different way sometimes. They use it as a way to say cool or nice or good. So I think in Russian it would be kruto. I think that's the closest translation or expression, the way I would express it. And so an example of how I would use it said, you went to Dubai, sweet. You got a new car, sweet. It's a synonym for awesome, cool, really great. So if you hear somebody say sweet, they're not talking about candy. They're not talking about chocolate. They're saying that they really like it. All right. I want to get back here before I go to Victoria. Is that, yes, I do have a prize tonight. I have another mug. I promise I'll fill it up with chocolate. So if you're in Ekaterinburg and you ask a really, really great question tonight, oops, I want to make sure it's focused. You can get this nice mug and I will put some chocolate inside it. I hope you're paying attention. So now I'm going to go over to our guest, Victoria. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome.
Matt. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be your guest tonight.
Thank you for being here. So you're here because you actually know what you're talking about when it comes to teaching English, because you have a company that has a course curriculum, you have videos on YouTube, Refocus, and you've also studied in the United States. Even though you have a background in finance, you've worked in the United States multiple times, you studied in high school there, so you do know a lot about English. Correct? Yes?
Well, I hope so. But I definitely have something to tell your listeners.
All right. So I'm going to pass it to you. She's going to take our audience, our audience, through a couple of examples of how she teaches English from a Russian speaker's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Alex says privet. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. Matt, let me just make sure. Should I switch to Russian now? Or should I...
Можно,
Okay.
пожалуйста.
I'll go back and forth.
Okay.
So, еще раз добрый вечер всем. Очень рада всех видеть и надеюсь, что эта встреча будет полезной для вас. Я назвала свой курс Refocus, я надеюсь, видно, не просто так. Я надеюсь, что за это время, которое мы проведем сегодня вместе, вы поймете, почему я считаю, что это ключевое слово для того, чтобы свободно владеть иностранным языком, и в данном случае английским. И первое упражнение, которое хочу вам предложить сделать, это перевести фразы с русского языка на английский. Не нужно ничего гуглить, нужно просто попытаться выразить тот смысл, который написан русским языком, но по-английски. И первая фраза у нас это «утро вечером мудренее». И чтобы сделать это максимально интересным, в конце мы спросим Мэтта, как бы он, как native speaker, сказал это на английском языке.
Хорошо. Are you ready? So you're gonna do this.
Да-да-да.
Yeah, okay.
Да. Мгм.
Понял, да.
Первая фраза это «утро вечером мудренее». По-русски мы говорим ее очень часто. Наверное, есть какой-то английский эквивалент, но мы сейчас не про него, а как бы вы сами сказали это по-английски.
So I'll put these up on the screen so you can see them. Morning knows better.
Very good.
Anybody else? Let's see. Morning is more wiser than evening.
На самом деле, вот можно, это прекрасный пример того, что я хочу продемонстрировать. Смотрите, когда мы говорим на иностранном языке, первое, что мы делаем, это мы формулируем эту фразу на своем родном языке и пытаемся ее перевести. Вот, собственно говоря, это то, что произошло, если я не ошибаюсь, Венера написала, да, что morning is wiser than evening. Но можем спросить у Мэтта, сказал бы он так эту фразу на английском языке. Matt?
Okay, I'm just showing all the people trying to do this, okay? So I would do it like, tomorrow is a new day. I think that's the expression.
Excellent. Let's go to the next phrase, and then I'll explain why we're doing it and what's the whole purpose and meaning behind it.
Okay, so this one?
Yeah, the second phrase is «В офисе царит весеннее настроение». How would you say it in English?
Это очень трудно. Не знаю.
Трудно? Matt, do you know the word царит in Russian?
Царит is to rule or to reign. Цар.
It comes from this word. Do we have any answers?
No guesses yet.
I took these phrases on purpose because there are words that like you would never use. Spring is in the air in the office. Perfect.
Oh, wow, really? Fresh head is better. I don't know that.
I think it's related to the first phrase.
Office staff goes high.
Goes high.
Spring mood reigns in the office.
Reigns in the office.
Oh, maybe
Matt,
this is... Sorry.
Would you use the word rain in this context, like in this phrase?
Probably not, but I think I may have when I tried to do it. But I think maybe Anastasia is right. Like spring is in the air.
It's perfect. I think it's excellent.
Okay, we'll just keep putting these up for you so you can see people. Spring mood is current in the office. That's Margarita. Very good. Spring is in the air in our office. Yeah, I think I put everyone is happy in the office. Okay, but I think Anastasia is better. Spring is in the air. That is a phrase in English. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's go to the third example.
Молодец, Alek and Anastasia.
Excellent. This one is actually my favorite phrase, and I talk about it on my different channels because it's actually an example from my lesson where my student wanted to say «Мои разговоры с семьей заходят в тупик». How would you say it in English?
Трудно.
Most people don't know the word tupik. I'm sure many wouldn't know which verb to use for заходят, and that makes it difficult to translate word for word.
Заходят, like to go into?
To go into,
like
yeah.
Very quickly? Tupik is like,
well,
I know заходите, like заходите в магазин.
Come in, yeah.
Oh, Yulia says, I speak different languages with my family.
Interesting.
My talks with my family come to a dead end. I think that's what I had.
This
My
one is good.
family pitches get stuck.
Business
My
approach.
family discussions lead nowhere.
Мгм.
My talks with my family come to a dead end.
Мгм.
And Simeon says hello.
Hi.
He's from Russia.
Ага.
Anastasia
How
says
would you...
conversations in our family come to a standstill. Oh,
Very
that's
good.
probably more.
More formal, I would say. A bit more formal.
But more precise. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dead end. All right, so I forgot what
How
I
would you...
put. These are great. Excellent job. Oh, I'll put one more up for Christy. My talks with family stop. I think stop.
Мгм.
I'm not talking to my family at this time. That's what I said.
Мгм.
Is that correct?
I'll explain, first of all, why we did it and what I'm trying to show here.
Okay.
And I'll switch to Russian to make sure that everybody understands.
Yeah.
Очень часто, когда мы хотим что-то сказать, мы не знаем каких-то слов на иностранном языке, в данном случае на английском. Часто то, как мы говорим по-русски, не говорят по-английски. Поэтому самое важное, что я хочу донести, что нужно перестать переводить дословно с русского на английский, потому что вас могут не понять. И, собственно говоря, это и есть ключ к тому, вокруг чего, к ядру, вокруг которого я построила свою методику. Рефокус нужно перенести фокус внимания с себя на вашего собеседника. Что вы хотите до него донести? Какой смысл? Вот что значит мои разговоры с семьей заходят в тупик, если я скажу это по-русски? Разговоры с какой семьей? Это муж, это родители, это братья и сестры. Непонятно. Что значит заходит в тупик? Вы друг друга не понимаете, кто-то не слышит вас. Поэтому я своих учеников призываю не переводить с русского языка на английский, а представлять ситуацию. Это то, что я сказала своей ученице. Я попросила ее закрыть глаза и представить эту ситуацию. И она сказала, это был ее вариант: When I talk to my parents, they don't understand me. Нет слова «тупик», нет слова «заходят», нет слова «разговоры», которые она тоже не могла вспомнить. Понимаете, когда мы представляем, у нас нету этого мостика с русского языка на английский. У нас мозг описывает тот образ или ту ситуацию, про которую мы хотим сказать. И это гораздо проще. А то, что пытаются сделать многие, это выступить в роли синхронного переводчика, но это тяжелый труд, это специально обученные люди, которые этим занимаются. А вместо этого почему-то со школьной скамьи нас это учат делать. У нас в учебниках, наверное, многие помнят, был такой учебник Голицынского. Прекрасный учебник, мне он нравился в школе, но при этом он не дает вот этого навыка. Нужно слово в слово все знать, чтобы перевести дословно. Многие приложения тоже это предлагают, да, что у вас есть слова, из которых нужно составить определенную фразу. Либо даже если нет слов, все равно то, что мы делаем, мы пытаемся перевести каждое слово. Я же предлагаю все-таки обратить внимание на нашего собеседника, да, и сделать так, чтобы наша мысль была понята в первую очередь. Потому что даже мои разговоры с семьей, а что, если ваш собеседник не знает слова dead end? Тогда получается, что вы-то сказали, но вас собеседник мог не понять. Поэтому я очень советую вам хотя бы попробовать. В следующий раз, когда вы захотите что-то сказать по-английски, попробуйте представить это, и, скорее всего, вы перефразируете свою изначальную мысль и скажете ее сразу по-английски. Вы не будете думать сначала по-русски, потом ее переводить. Ваша речь станет гораздо более свободной, и когда вы думаете о своем собеседнике, вы не можете сразу, знаете, это как прожектор, он не может одновременно светить на вашего собеседника и на вас. Поэтому, когда вы думаете о своем собеседнике, вы не думаете о тех ошибках, которые вы можете совершить, что вы можете прозвучать как-то с русским акцентом, или если вы забудете какое-то слово, да, вы будете пытаться его вспомнить, вы не будете на этом фокусироваться, вы будете фокусироваться на своем собеседнике. Поэтому это вот то ядро, которое моим ученикам очень сильно помогло, да, когда мы не переживаем за себя. Ведь многие, да, они боятся ошибиться и поэтому не говорят. И вот сегодня вы попробовали первый раз, но я очень хочу, чтобы вы сделали это еще хотя бы раз. Вы поймете, у вас на чаше весов будет то, как вы раньше привыкли делать, да, переводить свои мысли. и то, что я предлагаю вам сделать, и это гораздо проще. Может быть, у кого-то из вас есть опыт публичных выступлений, ведь там же то же самое. Да, мы должны держать фокус на нашей аудитории, да, потому что если мы будем думать, я забыл текст, да, я не знаю, что сказать, а как я стою, а правильные ли у меня жесты, то тогда наша цель не будет достигнута, мы свой посыл не передадим нашей аудитории. То же самое и в разговорном английском. Фокус на собеседнике. Как развить, да, я вижу вопрос уже.
Это навык.
Да. Как развить этот навык? Это тоже немножко нестандартная история, которую я предлагаю. Вот всем кажется, что разговорный навык мы развиваем в разговоре, да, что должен быть собеседник. На самом деле я говорю, что можно даже это делать без собеседника. Вот едете вы утром на работу за рулем или там стоите в очереди. Подумайте, вот то, что там, я не знаю, вас может там беспокоит на сегодняшний день, или подумайте о вчерашнем дне, или в принципе о каких-то своих, я не знаю, мечтах. Попробуйте это сформулировать сами с собой, наедине с самим собой по-английски. Или на какую-то тему, например, подумайте о путешествиях. Все мы давно не путешествовали, да, это уже наболевшая тема. Вот куда бы вы хотели поехать, почему бы вы хотели поехать, какие слова вы вспоминаете. Тогда вы поймете, каких, может быть, слов не хватает у вас, да. И вот именно наедине с самим собой попытаться это формулировать, представляя, да, ни в коем случае не переводя. Это гораздо проще. И я вас уверяю, что каждый это может делать. У меня пример один вот самый яркий. У меня есть ученица, ей 68 лет. И она, представляете, ну, как бы человек, которому это гораздо сложнее, чем тем, кто младше, да. И она училась, у нее было очень много разных опытов, да, от школы, университета, до всевозможных курсов за свою жизнь. У нее было много попыток, да, подхода к этому снаряду, к изучению английского языка. И вот сейчас она представляет и говорить гораздо проще, да, становится. И она это, ну, как бы она уже очень хорошо говорит.
Let's hear this is Julia's opinion, but what do you think? Thanks for your input. We should learn a lot of different words and synonyms. I think it would be easier to explain if you know more words.
I like the word explain, and I also like, I'm not sure if your listeners know, maybe you've done it. There is a word game called taboo. It's basically when you don't know, like you have to explain the word using other like words, you know, which are not неоднокоренные слова, да, то есть if you need to explain the word football, you cannot use ball or foot, and it actually helps a lot. So, for example, once I gave my students a task to explain the word тень, shadow, and you know, like the first person who tried, he was trying to explain it from a like physics perspective, and the person who he was trying to explain it to, she completely, like, she didn't know any physics, and you could see like this, you know, misunderstanding, and she was lost, you know, by looking at her face. But he was concerned about himself. He had a task, but he forgot about the person who is sitting next to him. So that's why I always say, I'll wrap it up in a nice way. So my whole metodica has like 3 pillars. One of them is, as I've already told you, you need to focus on the person who you're talking to. The second one, we've done it already in our exercise. Stop translating, like imagine and then try to describe it. And the third one, it's exactly what Yulia is talking about. You need the skill to explain words. If you don't know a word, всегда есть альтернативы, всегда. Если вы не знаете одно слово, вы можете объяснить его несколькими словами. Это вот как в игре табу. Не знаете слово «тень», попробуйте через то, что понятно будет вашему собеседнику. Не нужно использовать слова высокого уровня, если вы говорите с человеком, который только начал учить язык. Это не про вас, да, это не про showing off your knowledge or your skills or your vocabulary. It's about the person who is sitting next to you. And like those 3 skills, I think are key, you know, in learning how to speak fluently.
I think that's great advice, and it gives you more confidence to say, okay, I don't know, 500 words of these 500 words in this of this topic, but I can, at least I can explain or describe what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and also think, like, if you, for example, if I know 5,000 words, а мой собеседник знает 500 слов, да, why would I use, my vocabulary if he doesn't understand you? So
Yeah.
always think about the person. And also I'll give you listeners another example. Представьте, что что-то вы поехали за границу, и что-то случилось с кем-то, не дай бог, из ваших близких или из людей, которые вас окружали. Вы вынуждены позвать на помощь. Неважно кто, скорая, я не знаю, сотрудники отеля. Вы не будете там задумываться о том, да, как вы звучите, какие у вас ошибки, что вы забыли какое-то слово. Вам нужно сделать так, чтобы была оказана помощь. Так вот, в обычном разговоре все практически так же, да. Вам нужно донести мысль до человека, пусть базовыми где-то словами. И даже, наверное, хорошо, что базовыми вы точно будете уверены, что человек вас понял. Потому что есть люди, которые вам будут кивать в ответ, при этом они не будут понимать, что вы имеете в виду. И, возможно, от этого будет зависеть какое-то ваше дальнейшее, да, развитие вот этих межличностных отношений, что тоже не очень хорошо. Я не призываю все упрощать, да, я призываю говорить. И если я знаю точно, что это помогает, да, вот этот навык перефразирования, представления, да, забыть про русский язык и попытаться объяснить человеку искренне, да, вот тогда это считывается и получается более такие meaningful уже связи, неважно, да, с кем вы разговариваете.
Alec has a nice compliment for you. So I want to respond to Konstantin. He has the game Taboo in English. And that is a really good way to think about in another like a foreign language that, okay, I don't know these 5 words, but I need to let you know what this word is. And that will get your brain started. And I think that's a really, really great way, even in English, to learn how to communicate in your native language. So that's a perfect example of this.
And you don't need another person, sometimes to play it. You just like take one word a day and try to explain it. How would you explain the word, let's say, I don't know, наволочка to a person, Something you put on your pillow, and I'm sure the person will understand.
Hello, Stepan. Nice to see your comment. I want to move on to just a little bit. We'll continue now in English for the most part. If our audience, if you have a question for Victoria about anything, please feel free to ask in the comments and I'll put it on the screen. I want to ask you about your experience attending an American high school in Houston. Texas is much different than no, you're from Moscow or outside of Moscow. What was that like, and what did you get from that experience?
Well, first of all,
I should back up and say she was a Flex a participant. Flex was an exchange program that used to exist and was facilitated by the embassy and the consulates here, but now it's not. But sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. I want to mention that that happened when 16 years ago. So I went to the States as a Flex exchange student back in 2004. So it was a long time ago. Contact didn't exist, so my friends used to write me letters, like written letters. And of course, Houston was a lot different from my hometown, which is a very small town not far from St. Petersburg. So I moved to Moscow recently. And for me, as a person, as a student, coming from a small town, the biggest surprise was that there's so many opportunities. I went to a huge high school. As far as I remember, more than 3,000 people.
3,000 students. Whoa.
Yeah, it was huge. And there were so many different clubs there, like even in Houston, they played hockey and like it was super hot in Houston. And then like, why do you play hockey there? This is not, and I saw that, for me, it was very eye-opening, because we didn't have anything. We just had the basketball club in my school, and that's it. And I always wanted to do figure skating in my hometown, but we never had a chance to, we just had ice and that's it, like no teachers, nothing. Mm-hmm. And so for me, this opened the horizon, so to say, and it helped me a lot. And especially taking into account that it was many years ago. Now it's different. right? We have YouTube, we have different ways to practice and yeah, to go abroad as well.
Yeah. How long have you been studying English? When did you start?
I started when I was 4 years old. I had a tutor from when I was 4, and before I went to the States, it took me 12 years. And then I think it's a nice story to tell. I went to the States in 2004, and my first week in Houston, and it's not only about the accent, like I want to mention it. I couldn't understand a word. And my English, I mean, I was an excellent student throughout high school, like throughout like all like grades. And I had a tutor. My English was like good, if you compare to like other students. But then I go to the States and I cannot understand and say a word. And this is when like the first time that, I had this light bulb, next to my head. Why did I waste so much time? And this is also like one of the reasons that I started I wanted to find, this fastest way. And it's not like this because a lot of people think it's about marketing. It's not. Like I wanted to show people that there are so many different things that you can do in life. And if you spend 12 years studying English, it's just, takes away time from everything else. And you can enjoy it more, of course. And also like after coming back from the States, of course, I wanted to share my experience. And then after I left my corporate job, I went to my hometown, back to my school. And I wanted to explain students, at my high school that English just opens up, this whole new world. And this is how I started. So
there was a question, do you want to move to the United States? That's somebody asked. Eva did.
It's a good question. Actually, in 2013, which means 7.5 years ago, I really wanted to move to the States. And I participated in the green card lottery and I won a lottery, but I never went there. So, and I think everything happens for a reason. I do believe so. And I think that what I'm doing now here, actually, like, if I had gone to the States or if I had moved to the States, I would have never started this project, I think. So, and I'm really happy doing what I'm doing. So now I don't want to move anywhere.
I'm just putting up some comments as they come in. A question here from Anna. She said, are relationships between school students different in Russia and the United States?
That's a great question. This is actually something that surprised me. Like in the States, for example, a person can approach you. Of course, everybody knows that there are like that many exchange students. I had a big school and there were, as far as I remember, 6 or 7 of us when I went there. And so everybody knows, okay, this girl is from Russia. Let's go and say hi. And then some of them just come and say hi. Others, like you have an actual conversation. And then the next day you see this person, at school, he or she doesn't even say hello. Like in Russia, I think our connection is, I don't know, deeper, if I can say so. And this is something that was very different. So I cannot say that I made really good friends, somebody who, from the exchange students, of course, but not as like,
the American side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be hard. And I think there is a difference in how, a small difference. I've heard the critique that a lot of Americans have it in us. We always say, hello, how are you doing? How are you? And it's a reflexive reaction. I personally do care about what people like. I want to hear if you're doing well, but it might not go beyond that. It's more of a greeting. Whereas maybe other cultures will say, you ask me how I am, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to stand here and tell you for 5 minutes. And maybe some Americans might go, I was just saying hi.
Yeah.
But, that's each person's different.
And Russians complain a lot. So some people just don't want to hear
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Do you teach kids using the same techniques that you told us about?
It's actually with kids. I started teaching kids, and it's of course very different. Like I always say when people ask me like when should they, watch my videos on YouTube, I always say it's 12 years and above, because for kids, it's, of course, you should like include games in there, and
Hmm.
they cannot make the connections that we as adults can make, and it's very hard, of course, for them to explain. It's good if you can explain basic concept to them through
Hmm.
games, and I think that would be a huge success. And I'm talking about something that I think only like older children can get,
Yeah.
and mainly adults.
Good question, Eva. Irina asks, what fun electives did you have being an American high school student? Did you take any classes or do something like a fun club or
Uh,
sport or?
Not classes, but I had two sisters in my host family, and they were part of the crew of like this hot air balloon thing. It
Hot.
was it was it was outside school. It was not related to school, but still, like we went to, where was it? Not far from NASA. I think there is this big a hot air balloon. What would you say? Not competition,
Like
but
launching area?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did
Okay.
that. I didn't fly myself, like for a reason that I had to change my family. It was my turn, but then I changed the host family. And in the second host family, we had also a very weird activity, I would say. I'm not sure how you call it. Uh, it's basically when you know, mm, I think in Russian it's rekonstrukция. It's when you, like from this medieval times, people put on the clothes and they construct those different, like, battles.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
like show, yeah, this thing.
Civil War reenactment.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
this is something
interesting.
that I
Yeah,
did.
that is that is popular in certain parts of the country.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
then I also had a very big project at the end of my stay. We did the fundraising campaign with the Russian club of my second school, and we like everything that we've collected. I brought back to my hometown, to the orphanage, and we bought like different balls, and we made photo albums for them. So it was also
Oh, very
something
nice.
like giving back to the community. That was more important than for me than.
That's a nice project. Alec asks, what do you like about the United States since you've been there? I think you told me before this you worked in Maine, you worked in Massachusetts, and you've been to Pennsylvania, and now you've also lived in Houston. Then we have one more question after that too.
Um, I think like the last time I was in the States was 10 years ago, so that people understand that the timeline.
Hmm.
But the best thing so far, and I even like now thinking about it, and I'm giving the same answer because a lot of people are asking. I actually like how I felt there. It's like this freedom, because in Russia you have a lot of different, limits in your head, that you cannot do something like wearing your pajamas to buy, milk to a store. In the US, you can do anything, and I really like. It's not about those basic things, but in general, like the way I felt like more uh, freedom there than in Russia, and I'm trying to work on it here, to also um, like think outside the box, and
Hmm.
but there it was much easier. That's what I would say.
I'll take note. I can't wear my pajamas to the store here. I haven't tried that. Did you have an American boyfriend or a close friends that you still miss a lot? You kind of said you didn't make close connections with a lot of American students,
Yeah,
but uh,
I can answer this question using not my flex experience, but other times that I went to the States. I'm also an alumna of a program which is called Global Village, Lehigh University, Pennsylvania. And from there, I have like the closest friend I have is from there, and it's just a 6 weeks program, and we've been in touch for 11 years. I
hmm,
know that like if there is a fire or something is like happens to me, he will be the first person to fly, to Russia. And he is not in America. He's from Afghanistan. Can you imagine? Like, and I have people like from different programs from different times in the States who are my very close friends now.
that's
So
really nice to hear. We have Victoria. How do you motivate lazy students that you've taught?
I think just by like for me, teaching is not only about teaching. I think it's about like having this energy inside that you are sharing. So I'm not just sharing the knowledge. I'm sharing the energy, and I'm
Mm.
super like I cannot even tell you like describe with words how much I love what I do. And I also and English helped me a lot, you know, not just knowing on like it's not because I'm teaching English, it's because English has opened the whole new world to me. And so when people see it, it's just like, you know, this energy just goes to them. And this is how, you know, people uh I didn't have a like I had those students who you would say like you cannot just teach them, you know, but even they wanted to do it just
Mhm.
because when you see a person who is who has this fire inside, I do believe that it's like you also like как
They
это-
they they detach themselves. They follow it. Yeah.
yeah, they follow it.
Do you have any experience teaching children with special needs? Um,
This is, oh, I have goosebumps. This is something that I really want to do. And not only with special needs, but also like those children who don't have the opportunity, you know, who are from, who either like in the orphanages or maybe from the families who cannot afford it. And I also had this idea, and people told me not to do it. It's one of the things you remember about freedom. Since I have a book, I wrote a book, which is it follows my YouTube channel. Like for every video, I have, you know, 2 pages in my book, and I wanted like whenever a person comes to me and buys a book, I wanted to give one book like to an orphanage, so like to double the effort, and also to help them learn. So to come there, let's say every week, and
mhm.
to help them learn, because I think that English is one of the skills that will help them get a different life. You know.
That's a very nice comment from Anna. All right, last question here. I'm going to say, are there any life aspects from the U.S. that you would like that you liked and would be great to implement here? I think you said some kind of cultural freedom or maybe a little more flexibility,
Cultural.
but what would you say?
Yeah, I think this is like number one for me. And what else? What else? What else? Um, I guess in general, like it will sound very um like I mean everybody talks about it, but I think in the States a lot more people do what they love than here. Like I
Mm.
hear a lot of people who are stuck in the jobs that they don't like here, or who kind of they say they have to do something, you know, or they have to live in the city because the whole family is here. But for some reason, even I see people who have health issues, like living in St. Petersburg, and they need to go to the south, but they still don't move. I think in the States, it's more about like a person actually following, you know, his dreams. This would be like big, but still,
Mhm.
like I think they care a lot more uh, about what they want to do.
Well, I can speak for moving. Yeah, there's Americans who move quite a bit all the time. I know people that have moved 25 times, 27 times in their life just because of the nature of their work. But not everybody does that. Some people stay put and live in one place their entire life.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of great questions tonight. I want to go back, and I think Eva had a couple of really good questions earlier about how to teach children and what are the how do you develop this skill. So Eva, if you're here, this is yours. So send us a direct message, Eva Bach. Uh,
Well done.
and if you, we'll send up we'll figure out a time for you to pick it up. So um, we have a nice comment from Andre, loving the lessons. And we post them on YouTube. Yes, they're on our YouTube channel. That's a great plug to follow us on YouTube and or Facebook or with Contacti. And I do put up a quiz every Tuesday on Instagram, on our Instagram stories. And I just want to see how good you are at American slang. And I try to find fairly difficult phrases. So if you want to do that, go to Instagram, our page, and follow us, and you can get that quiz every Tuesday or Monday night. All right. Let's see here. I'm all screwed up because I don't usually do it this way. But thank you for joining us. Thank you to Victoria for answering so many questions and providing a lot of expertise on language learning. I will probably have you back or invite you back to help us with another one. So we'll see. I'm reading questions now. Have a great night. Let's hope it gets lighter and warmer each and every day. I'm getting tired of the snow. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.